Hey guys. All right. So, talking about the question of the different questions about what the word liberal means and all this, it compels me to want to go further. So I did a video. It's a long video, kind of trying to answer the questions, because somebody just wanted to hear my point of view, which I don't, and I tried to clarify this in the videos, is that I don't have all the answers to, like politics is this massive, it's just one of the many mysteries, and I don't have, all I could do is share like my view on it, and, there are people that will claim they have the answers, and I can only share what I think, and but also what's true, what my truth is, like going back to Malcolm X's truth was that even though, yes, there are two wings of the same bird, the liberals are more dangerous to the Negro, and that was Malcolm X's truth. And because he's black, and he was kind of, for whatever reason, he was kind of a spokesperson for the blacks, he tried to warn the blacks that even though it is true that it's all two wings of the same bird, but the liberals and the conservatives will both eat the Negro, dude. So that's the same thing as saying it's two wings of the same bird. That's what Malcolm X literally said. The liberals and the conservatives will both cannibalize the Negro. That means the same thing. It's all two wings of the same bird, yes, Malcolm X argued. But being a black man living in this retarded society, Malcolm X saw as a black man living among black people and being kind of a spokesperson for blacks, Malcolm X warned that the liberals are still more dangerous to the Negro, even though it is two wings of the same bird. And so, yeah. So I would agree with that. I'd be like, I could see how that would be true, because being a fucking homeless person for 10 years eating out of dumpsters, I see the same thing through the eyes of homelessness. The liberals are more dangerous to the homeless than the conservatives. Even though both conservatives and liberals will fucking cannibalize homeless people. Yes. But one is more dangerous than the other. But see, it just depends on who you are, A middle class person might see it a lot differently. It just depends on who you are and your circumstances. And that's why I will always challenge this blanket one-size-fits-all statement that politics is just two wings of the same bird, and that's all you need to know. It's like, no. And I explained that in my video, where it's like, no. If one party is a wolf and the other party is a wolf in sheep's clothing, then you need to be aware that it's not just wolves that are dangerous to you. It's wolves that are dressed in sheep's clothing. And if one party is wolves in sheep's clothing and the other party is wolves, then one of those two is potentially more dangerous to you than the other. I mean, this is just deductive logic. And I know it's what I'm saying is sound. And that's why I get frustrated with oh no, it doesn't matter if they're a wolf in sheep's clothing or a wolf, it's all the same. Those people are going to get you fucking killed. Those people that are telling you it doesn't matter if it's a wolf or a wolf in sheep's clothing, that it's all the same. No, it's not. That's like being in a war and not being able to tell the difference from your enemies and your allies, because your enemies look like your allies and your allies look like your enemies. And then someone's telling you, oh, you don't need to worry about any of that. All you need to know is who the enemy is. Well, if your enemy looks like your ally, then that person is trying to get you fucking killed. And that's what, like, this blanket statement of it's the Jews. Dude, anybody who drinks the Kool-Aid on that, you're gonna end up with the same fate as all these people in the Jim Jones fucking cult who drank the fucking Jim Jones Kool-Aid. If you cannot tell your enemy from your ally because they look the same, because of camouflage, they use camouflage to disguise themselves in war. That is an old war tactic, is to where you can't tell who they are. Wolf in sheep's clothing. And if somebody's telling you, oh, you don't need to worry about, all you need to know is that the wolves are your enemy. You don't need to know anything about all this wolves in sheep's clothing business. Don't even listen to them. They're just trying to distract you from the truth. So anyways, you have to understand what my point is. If you don't, then I don't know, you're just you're not even a human being. You're just like a robot, who's programmed to not understand anything at all. And this is like when the Bible, for all you religious people, okay, God bless you if you're religious. The Bible says that this is a spiritual warfare. So the Bible says that right now, right this very moment, there's warfare going on. Okay? Now, there's a lot of you that don't believe that, and a lot of you that don't believe that will say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory that it's a spiritual warfare going on right now. That's just a conspiracy theory. You need to just relax and drink some chamomile tea, You need to calm down. And that's fair enough. Believe whatever you want. And the Christians, a true Christian will believe that there's warfare going on right this very second over everywhere. And it's a spiritual warfare. And if there is a warfare going on, you better believe that your enemy is trying to appear as though they're your ally. You better believe that discerning your enemies from your allies is not as easy as you would wish it to be. That you can't tell. You're not going to be able to tell if there's a war going on right now, you're not going to be able to tell who's your enemy and who's not. If it's all, about disguises and deceit and deception and lies, and people are going to be disguising themselves as your friend so that they can get close to you. All is fair in love and war, or whatever, right? So anyways, getting back to politics, because when we're talking about, like, what does the word liberal mean? Well, that means we're going into politics. And the most popular thing in politics right now is the bold statement that it's all just two wings of the same bird. That's the most popular talking point in a political commentary right now. It's all just two wings of the same bird. Whoever you vote for, Netanyahu wins. And I'm telling you, if you drink that Kool-Aid, you're gonna you're gonna end up the same fate as the Jim Jones cult members drinking that Jim Jones Kool-Aid. It's never that easy. There's always all kinds of nuance, and it's just like ridiculous. And so I wanted to present you with a hypothetical scenario. Let's say I'm an apolitical person, And every time you run into me on the streets of BitChute, all you hear me saying is, it's all two wings of the same bird, right? And then I gather up this army, and we're called the skankers instead of sticks, hex, and hammers, clankers. No. I'm an apolitical person, and my group are called the skankers. And all we do is run through the streets of BitChute like a pack of wild retards. And any and everywhere we go, we loudly proclaim how politics is all two wings of the same bird, you stupid fucking retards. And then my apolitical group called the Skankers, we just grow and grow. Next thing you know, like 1 out of every 10 people you run into on the streets of BitChute is a skanker telling you, it's all two wings of the same bird, dummy. You know. Okay? And we keep growing and growing. And then I become the leader of the leaderless movement of skankers. Okay? And as the leader of the apolitical, non-political skankers group, I decide in consensus with all my skanker army, we all decide we're going to start a third party, and it's the non-political party, the non-political skanker party, just to cause disruption in politics. And then I'm running as the non-political, I'm running for office as a third party. And the third party is the non-political party. You know, kind of like how Elon Musk is trying to start a new third party called America First or Americans First or something like that. It's a new third party called Americans First. Well, I'm awesomer than, Elon Musk because, obviously Elon Musk is just a puppet, right? Like Trump. But I'm not, because I'm non-political. I'm the apolitical, non-political person. And all my skanker army is all behind me, and we started the skanker non-political party. So we're a non-political party called the Skankers. And so the Skankers show up on the ballot as a third party. So now, not only can you either vote for the Liberal Democrat Party or the Conservative Republican Party. Well, no. Now there's a third option. You can vote for the non-political party called the Skankers. And my campaign slogan is, it's all two wings of the same bird. That's my campaign slogan for the apolitical skanker third party group, is it's all two wings of the same bird. So vote for me. I'm the head of the non-political, third party called the Skankers. And our political slogan is it's all just two wings of the same bird. And then I show up on the ballot. Now, you might be like, oh, this is just more bullshit. Yeah, but you got all these useful idiots all over the place that they just jump on whatever's trendy. And so if it's trendy to go around, like a wild pack of retards down the streets of BitChute screaming with a loud voice that it's all two wings of the same bird, if that's a trend, well then I'm gonna get votes no matter what. Right? Some of these so-called apolitical people are going to see that my non-apolitical third party is now on the ballot, and my party's slogan is, it's all just two wings of the same bird. And they're going to see that, and they're going to get all excited and go vote for me. And then that could end up becoming a trend where a lot of those useful idiots will be like, hey, there's a non-political party now that's running for office. and they're all about, they're totally against politics. And their slogan is, it's all just two wings of the same bird. You guys, we need to vote this guy in. We need to vote this party in. This whole party is only designed to hijack the political system. You know? The skankers know that it's all two wings of the same bird. That's why they have a non-political party called the Skankers. And their whole slogan is it's all just two wings of the same bird, so vote for me because I'm non-political. I'm apolitical. I'm against all politics. You see how it's all the same, dude. Non-political, liberal, conservative. All these people that are talking about that it's two wings of the same bird, they're no different than a liberal or a conservative. It's all the same. It's stupid. The line that this catchphrase, it's all two wings of the same bird. It's just more of the same bullshit and it's just another slogan, just like the liberals have their slogans, the conservatives have their slogans. This is just some astroturfed, fake, third-party bullshit, and their slogan just happens to be, it's all two wings of the same bird. It's just more dumb. You know, it's just another, what they're trying to do is they're trying to provide you with a simple explanation of politics. And there is no simple explanation to politics. Because politics is in everything, right down to your sewing circle or your whatever. You go and hang out with your hippie friend out in the fucking Ozarks because your hippie friend is, you know, living off grid and that hippie friend has a couple other hippie friends and they're living off grid, and you go visit them, you're going to immediately experience politics. Even though those hippies, they claim that they're apolitical and it's all two wings of the same bird. When you go into their little world, it's going to be all politics, you know. You know, they're the shot callers, they're the president. They're the Trump. They're Trump of that little off-grid area that they are the, you know, President Trump of that little off-grid area. You know, it's all the same. Politics is everywhere and everything. You're never going to escape it, and that's just escapism. That's just copium. Those are people that they just can't cope with the fact that politics is everywhere in everything. It's all around you. It's everywhere in everything. When you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It's the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Like, it's everywhere. You can't escape it. And these people, you know, it's like magical thinking. This idea that politics is all just two wings of the same bird. That's magical thinking. You know? Okay, so like let's say I have a friend and he walks around barefoot. He's got some property that he stays on and he sleeps under a tree and he talks about how politics is all just two wings of the same bird. And there's a couple other people that live on that property too, and they all walk around barefoot, and they all talk about how politics is all just two wings of the same bird, right? And then I decide, I'm going to go visit them. I want to go hang out for, you know, they invited me to come onto their commune and help them, you know, pick the apricot tree and help them, you know, dig out the rice farm, you know, irrigation, you know, and you know, help them with their off-grid, you know, thing where there's no politics and they always just talk about how that politics is all bullshit and it's all too. And so then I go out there and what am I going to experience? Politics. that person is President El Presidente Trump of that little off-grid community. And so El Presidente Trump, who walks around barefoot and talks about how politics is all just two wings of the same bird. That's the president of that off-grid. They're not just gonna let you come in no, they're gonna be setting the ground rules, and they may not be very reasonable either. They might be like, well, bro, if you want to hang out here on our acre, on our apolitical, non-political little commune, you're not allowed to smoke cigarettes. You're gonna have to leave those cigarettes. You can't bring cigarettes onto our apolitical, non-political thing where we're just we're not two wings of the same bird. You know what I'm saying? You can't escape it. You cannot escape politics. And the whole idea of this two wings of the same bird is escapism, where people think that, oh, I've totally transcended politics. No, they haven't. They work a job. That's politics. Everything is politics, dude. You can't escape it no matter where you go and what you do. It's in everything, everywhere, all the time. When you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It's the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth that you are a slave, dude. You're a slave. And so if you go out on that property where there's no slavery there, they're going to treat you like a slave. They're going to be like, wait a second. Before you come onto our property, we just got to let you know you're not allowed to bring cigarettes here. That's totally not, we don't allow cigarettes here. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be pretty hard for me to quit because I'm going to have to go through withdrawals and all this stuff. And they're like, well, I don't care. All I know is you're not allowed here. I'm El Presidente Trump of the non-political, apolitical commune here. And me and my Trump staff have all decided that no cigarettes are allowed on our apolitical compound. This is an apolitical compound, but you can't bring cigarettes here. It's like, okay. And it's like, okay, well, I'll just leave my cigarettes here and that way I can come in. And then they'll be like, well, wait, before you enter, though, we also don't allow shoes. You can't wear shoes. And you're like, what? It's like, yeah. Well, wait a second. I thought this is apolitical, non-political. We are. We're totally non-political. It's all two wings of the same bird. That's why we have our apolitical compound here. But nonetheless, I'm El Presidente Trump of the non-political, apolitical compound here, where we all talk about how it's all just two wings of the same bird. But I've made it a rule, and all my Trumper staff here are all in agreement in enforcing that no shoes are allowed. So you're going to have to take your shoes off, and you're going to have to leave your cigarettes before you enter the non-political compound. See, that's politics. So you really think that there is some group of people that is apolitical and non-political that's just going to be like, oh yeah, no. See, it's just more psyop. It's psyop bullshit for the masses of useful idiots. And all these useful idiots, they see everybody saying, oh, it's two wings of the same bird. And so all these useful idiots, they all just chime in. Yeah, that's right. It's all two wings of the same bird. Yeah. But see, nothing is ever that simple. That's a total oversimplification of a complex thing. Going back to my friend who lives out on an acre off grid and sleeps under the apricot tree and invites me to come visit him. And he's totally apolitical, non-political. He's always telling me how it's all politics is just two wings of the same bird. And when I go to visit him, then he won't even allow me onto his property unless I have to leave my cigarettes at the entrance. I can't bring my cigarettes. Like, wait, what? and I have to leave my shoes. It's like, really? I thought this was a non-political, like, oh yeah, we're totally not, yeah, there's no politics here. Well, what's next, you know? It's like, do I have to give you, oh yeah, also you have to give us your gun. If you have a gun, we will confiscate the gun. That'll be our gun. What? Yeah, no, we're totally apolitical, non-political. It's totally all two wings of the same bird. Yeah. See what I mean? Like, so, no, it's not that simple. But you'll see these motherfuckers, they just oversimplify everything, anything and everything. That's because that's a psyop. So anyways, I did it, my previous video is just talking about politics. And it's really difficult to talk about politics without talking about the apolitical, non-political, because apolitical and non-political is a politically charged movement. So anyhow, but yeah, you know, like I could start my third party. I could start a third party, and we're called the Skankers. We're an apolitical, non-political group called the Skankers. And we just put ourselves on a third-party ballot to disrupt all this two wings of the same bird shit, you know? I'm here to disrupt the two wings of the same bird shit. And so I started the Skankers. And we form a third party, and it's on the ballot now. And our slogan is, it's all just two wings of the same bird. That's our slogan. For the Skanker slogan is, it's all just two wings of the same bird. And I create a third party, inject it into the system to disrupt the system. Well, would you be surprised if some people started voting for that? They're like, oh, I totally get this. The Skankers are just designed to disrupt the fake two-party system, and so I'm going to vote for them because they're saying it's all two wings. Vote for the Skankers because it's all just two wings of the same bird, and people would actually vote. People would actually be like, yeah. People who reject the voting system because it's all fake, they would see that and be like, totally, bro, I'm going to vote for them just because that'll disrupt this fake voting system. Somebody needs to disrupt this, and here's the Skankers. But you don't understand, like, the Skankers, the non-political Skanker group, is just going to pull the same fucking swindles as the liberals do and the conservatives do. They're going to be no different. They're just going to be hiding behind the non-political banner that says it's all two wings of the same bird. It's just more of the same. The matrix is everywhere. In everything. So how do you escape all this? Well, Morpheus says, free your mind. Remember when he says that? Free your mind. You know? Free your mind. Okay? What about the scene in the Matrix where Morpheus shows Neo, look at all these people. And there's all these people walking all over the place, to and fro, wearing suits, briefcases. And then Morpheus is like, look at all these people. You see all these people? These are the very people we are trying to unplug. Now imagine in the sea of people that Morpheus is showing Neo, some of them are walking by and they're like, oh yeah, all politics is just two wings of the same bird, as they walk by Neo. Just because someone says and that it's all two wings of the same bird does not mean that they've been unplugged from the matrix. It's just the same as, just because somebody says it's the Jews does not mean they have unplugged from the matrix. You know? So Morpheus is showing Neo all these people. He's like, see all these people? And they're walking by. And as they walk by Neo, you'll hear a couple of them say, oh yeah, it's totally just two wings of the same bird, as they walk by, right? And then Neo's like, yeah? And he's like, dude, these are all the people that we're trying to unplug. And then right after Morpheus says that, a couple more people walk by and they're like, oh, it's totally the Jews, man. Don't you know it's the Jews, as they walk by? And Neo's like, the fuck? And then Morpheus continues on like, yeah, dude, any one of these people is a potential agent. You know? Any one of these people. And then Neo sees some hot chick in a red dress. And the hot chick is on the phone. And as she walks by, she's saying, oh, it's totally the Jews. Everything is the Jews, as she walks by. And Neo keeps looking at that fucking super fine chick in the red dress that was talking about, it's the Jews, stupid, as she walks by. And then Morpheus says, Neo, were you listening to me? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? And Neo's like, well, she just walked by and she's super hot. And she said it's the Jews as she walked by. And he's like, well, look again. Neo looks, and it's an agent. It's no longer a hot chick saying it's the Jews. No, it's an agent with the fucking gun pointed right at your face. And then Morpheus is like, freeze the program. And Neo's like, wait, this isn't the Matrix? No. This is just another program that we've designed to teach you one thing. That, any and every fucking person, I don't care if they're saying it's the Jews, or they're saying it's all two wings of the same bird, or if they're saying no matter who you vote for, Netanyahu wins. Any and all these people are potential fucking agents. All these seas of people, these are all the people that we're trying to unplug. Even the one that walked by that's saying, oh, it's the Jews, stupid, as they walk by. And the other ones, even the other ones, as they walk by, said, oh, yeah, no, all politics is just two wings of the same bird as they walk by. Just because somebody types up the phrase, it's the Jews, and posts it in your favorite BitChute fucking channel comments thread, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean a fucking thing to me, and it shouldn't mean anything to you either. The same as if somebody went in and typed in, it's all just two wings of the same bird, into your favorite comments thread on a BitChute channel. That shouldn't mean anything to you. Who fucking cares? These are the most meaningless statements. These are the most NPC bot statements. A bot. The agents were bots. Agents are, they're artificial intelligence. When you're looking at the Matrix, Agent Smith is a fucking bot, is an advanced artificial intelligence bot. So what if he said it's the Jews? It's a bot statement. So is it's all just two wings of the same bird. That's just a bot statement. Any Agent Smith can say that. So can any sheeple that's fucking totally jacked into the Matrix. They could, that's what sheeple do, is they're followers. They're no different than a person that walked by Neo and said, "Oh man, Trump is the best president." All these people, these are the very people we're trying to unplug, says Morpheus to Neo. And right after Morpheus says that to Neo, one of the people that walks by him is on the phone saying, dude, Trump is the best fucking president. Then someone else walks by and is like, Trump is a total, like he's evil. He's ruining this country. And then someone else walks by on the phone and says, dude, don't you know it's the Jews, stupid? And then someone else walks by on the phone and is like, oh yeah, all politics is just two wings of the same bird. Dude, all these people, these are the people that we're trying to unplug. Just because they say it's the Jews or what, that doesn't mean any fucking thing. No more than one of the people that walks by just happens to be some hot fucking chick wearing a red dress. It's all the same. Were you listening to me, Neo, or were you looking at the woman in the red dress who walked by on her phone saying, "Don't you know it's the Jews, stupid"? Well, no, I was looking at her because she's not only is she hot, but she sounds like she's unplugged. Morpheus, look again. Boom. You're dead, motherfucker. Game over. If you're not one of us, you're one of them. All these people are all potentially agents. Talk is fucking cheap, dude. So when you go to BitChute, you look around in the comment sections, you see all these people just going on and on. You see all these people just going on and on about it's the Jews. And you see all these people just going on and on about how it's all just two wings of the same bird. And all this other garbage. It's all garbage. None of it means any fucking thing. It's just an upgraded fucking Matrix. You know? It's just the Matrix upgraded. Anyways, whatever. I know this video is long. We'll see you, boys.